There is a liquid you can make in 20 minutes from things you find under any oak tree. It costs nothing. It fills wood scratches permanently. It bonds directly into the grain. And the $4 billion furniture repair industry has spent decades making sure you reach for their $30 marker pen instead of your own backyard. They did not bury this because it stopped working. They buried it because it never stopped. Welcome to lost skills. This is where what they erased comes back. Look at any deep scratch on a dark wood surface: walnut, oak, cherry, mahogany. What you are actually seeing is a fiber that has been broken open. The wood beneath the surface finish is exposed. The cells are empty. Light hits that empty space at a different angle, and your brain reads it as damage. Every product on the shelf at the hardware store addresses this the same way. They fill the void with colored wax, with dye, with synthetic resin. They mask it from the outside. The method your great-grandparents used does not mask it. It enters it. Here is what they knew that nobody teaches anymore. Oak bark, acorn shells, chestnut hulls, walnut husks, every one of these contains tannin. Specifically, hydrolyzable tannin, gallic acid derivatives that are water-soluble and deeply reactive with wood fiber. When tannin solution penetrates raw, exposed wood grain, it does not sit on top of the surface. It reacts with the cellulose structure of the fiber itself. It darkens the exposed cells from within, matching the surrounding sealed wood with a chemical reaction, not a cosmetic cover. This is not a stain. This is not a dye. This is a molecular bond. The furniture industry does not want you to know this distinction, because the moment you understand it, the $30 marker goes back on the shelf permanently. In the tanning districts of 13th century England, craftsmen who worked with leather also worked with wood. The same oak bark extract used to cure animal hide was applied to furniture and flooring to harden and darken the surface. It worked at a structural level that no imported oil or wax could match. German cabinet makers in the Black Forest documented tannin-treated walnut furniture from the 1600s that showed zero scratch visibility after decades of use. The treatment had not just repaired the surface, it had chemically strengthened it. Tannin reacts with iron compounds naturally present in aged wood to create ferric tannate, the same molecule that scribes used to make permanent iron gall ink, the ink that wrote every important document in Western civilization for over 1,000 years. This molecule does not fade. It does not dissolve in water. It bonds permanently at the molecular level. In 1847, a furniture maker in Lyon documented the exact process in a trade journal. He described boiling acorn caps in a small quantity of water until the liquid turned the color of strong black tea. He applied this liquid to deep scratches in walnut and cherry furniture. After drying, a single drop of linseed oil made the repair invisible. That journal sat in a library archive for 170 years, not because no one found it, because there was no financial incentive to republish it. In 2009, researchers at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences published a study on tannin compounds and their interaction with wood cell walls under the journal Holzforschung. The findings confirmed what craftsmen had documented by hand for centuries. Hydrolyzable tannins from oak family sources penetrate into the lumen, the interior cavity of wood cells, and form stable, water-resistant complexes with the cell wall polymers. The color change produced is not surface level. It occurs inside the fiber. The same year, a separate study published in the Industrial Crops and Products Journal confirmed that the tannin content of acorn caps from Quercus robur, the common English oak, ranges from 16 to 26% by dry weight. A handful of acorn caps boiled in a cup of water produces a concentrated solution with enough tannin to treat an entire piece of furniture. Cost of materials: zero if you walk outside. Cost of application tools: a cloth you already own. Shelf life of the solution: weeks stored in any glass jar, permanence of the repair, years bonded into the grain itself. Compare that to the product currently sitting in the furniture repair aisle. Colored wax stick, $8 to $14, effective on surface scratches only. Wax migrates with temperature change. Scratches reappear after 6 months of normal use. Requires repurchase. This is not a coincidence of chemistry. This is a business model. The global wood furniture care market was valued at $4.2 billion in 2024. Every major player in that market, S.C. Johnson with their pledge line, Wayman, Old English, Howard Products, sells you a product that requires reapplication. A solution that permanently bonds to wood grain and lasts for years without any repeat purchase cannot generate the revenue that quarterly reports require. So it is never mentioned, never displayed, never taught. This video is the surface. The complete Lost Skills Vault contains everything the furniture, cleaning, and outdoor industries removed from public knowledge. Ancient wood preservation methods, natural rust conversion, water purification that costs under $5, food preservation without refrigeration. Over 10 complete guides in one place. The link is in the description. Stay here because this vault is just opening now. Here is the part the label does not explain. Wax and resin-based furniture repair products do not bond to raw wood. They sit in the void. They rely on adhesion to the surrounding finish, not to the underlying fiber. Wood expands and contracts with humidity and temperature changes. Every season, every weather shift, the cellular structure of wood moves slightly. A product that bonds chemically to the fiber moves with it. A product that sits in a gap on top of that fiber does not. It loosens, it migrates, the scratch returns. This is not a flaw in the product design. This is the product design. Tannin solution does not have this problem, because it is inside the fiber when the fiber moves. The reaction has already occurred. The ferric tannate complex formed inside the cell wall does not release because it has no interface to release from. It has become part of the material. This is the same principle behind why oak-tanned leather lasts 200 years and synthetic tanned leather begins to crack in 20. The molecule that enters the structure of the material outlasts any coating applied on top of it. Every craftsman who worked with natural materials before the industrial era understood this. The knowledge was not primitive. It was structural chemistry that the modern industry has not improved upon. It has simply replaced it with something that needs to be purchased again. The same tannin solution that fixes your furniture also stops rust from spreading on metal tools. When tannin contacts iron oxide, it converts it into ferric tannate, the same stable black molecule. The rust does not just stop spreading, it becomes a protective layer. This reaction is the basis of rust converter products sold at automotive stores for $15 to $25 a bottle. The active ingredient in many of those commercial products is tannic acid. Exactly what you just boiled out of acorn shells for free. Your ancestors applied the same liquid to furniture scratches, tool handles, iron hinges, and rusted gate fittings. One preparation, 4 applications, $0. The hardware store sells you 4 separate products for 4 separate problems that one substance already solves. You need 5 things. You may already have all of them. 1. Collect 5 to 7 acorn caps, or a large handful of dry chestnut shells, or oak bark fragments. All of these work. Acorn caps are the most concentrated and easiest to source. If you are in an area without oak trees, dried pomegranate rind contains comparable tannin levels and is available at any market that sells dried fruit. 2. Break or crush the material into rough pieces and place them in a small saucepan. Add just enough water to cover the material, not more. You want concentration, not dilution. 3. Bring to a boil and hold at a low boil for 20 minutes. The water will turn from yellow to deep amber to near black. The darker it goes, the more concentrated the tannin content. If the water is still tea-colored after 15 minutes, add a few more caps and continue. You are looking for the color of cold black coffee. 4. Strain the liquid through any fine cloth and let it cool completely. Do not apply warm. Warm liquid opens wood grain and can cause uneven absorption. Room temperature or slightly cool is correct. 5. Using a cotton swab or the corner of a soft cloth, apply the cooled liquid directly to the scratch. Work it into the exposed grain with slow circular pressure. The liquid will disappear into the wood immediately. Apply 2 layers, allowing 5 minutes of drying between each coat. Watch the scratch close. The tannin is bonding to the exposed cellulose. The color is coming from inside the fiber now, not from a pigment sitting on top. After the final coat has dried completely, 15 minutes minimum, apply 1 single drop of olive oil, linseed oil, or walnut oil to a clean cloth and pass it over the entire repaired area. The oil seals the open grain around the repair. It also reactivates the surface finish slightly, blending the edge of the repair with the surrounding wood. That is the complete process. No heat gun, no sanding, no matching color swatches under fluorescent lights at a hardware store. A furniture restorer in Vermont documented this method on a deeply scratched black walnut dining table in 2021. 3 separate gouges, each running more than 2 inches across heavily used surface. After 2 coats of concentrated acorn tannin and a pass of linseed oil, all 3 scratches were invisible under direct light. The same table tested 1 year later showed no scratch recurrence. The tannin bond had held through a full cycle of seasonal humidity change. He estimated the material cost of the repair at $0. The walnut dining table had been quoted at $340 for professional repair. That money stayed in his pocket. Tannin solution works on dark wood species: walnut, oak, mahogany, cherry, chestnut, teak. It does not work well on pale woods like maple, birch, or pine because those species do not contain the iron compounds needed to complete the ferric tannate reaction fully. On pale wood, the tannin will darken the scratch, but the color may not match the surrounding grain. For dark wood species, which represent the majority of quality furniture produced in the last 2 centuries, this method works better than anything on the shelf. Not as well. Better. This is not an opinion. It is the same chemistry that kept medieval cabinet work intact through conditions that modern furniture would not survive. The tree in your backyard, or the park 2 blocks away, or the forest edge along any highway, that tree drops its caps every autumn. Every cap contains the same molecule that craftsmen used to repair and protect wood for 1,000 years before the first hardware store opened. You were never told. Not because no one knew. Because a $4.2 billion industry depends on you not knowing. Your great-grandmother knew where to find it. She picked it up in the fall, boiled it in her kitchen, and used it on every wood surface in her home. It was not a folk remedy. It was structural chemistry passed down through every generation that understood materials before the age of the product label. They spent decades replacing that knowledge with a wax marker in a blister pack. The oak tree did not forget. The chemistry did not change. The only thing that changed was who was selling you the answer. If this vault opened something for you today, share it. The person who needs this information is sitting right now in front of a scratched table they think they cannot fix. Every share is a vault they cannot close again. The next one opens soon. What is inside it is heavier than this.